If you've never been to Africa, or you've been there like more than 5 or 6 years, you left Africa like 5, 6, 7, 8, 10 years. When you go back, you have to suffer before you can regain your internal citizenship for you to be considered like, welcome home. Finally, you're part of us once again.
And it's too good to be true. You put the blame on me. Yeah. When I touch your ego, you put the blame on me. Once again now, I'm sorry to show you the truth, but I just gotta say that I love you, and I know you do too. When I held your tears, baby, remember.
Before starting everything, I want to show you all this nice van with the falling ice. I find it very fascinating. This van was parked here for days until the ice completely melted. Well, after that day with the good weather last week, where I even went outside in the evening without gloves, we continue to have this little weird spell of spring. As you can see from the beginning of the video, there has been a change of weather, and this happened in just some few hours. I was home when I noticed the sunny sky and thought, wow, this is a time to go outside. It was minus 11 degrees Celsius and the feeling was minus 17. I went out to make some videos, but then after a few minutes I started freezing. Watching the sun from home through the window, just as you are watching these videos, it's quite deceiving because it's difficult to get the sense of how cold it is. I couldn't stay out that long and I had to go home. A few hours later, I returned and to my surprise, the sun was no more. The weather has changed from minus 11 to minus 16, with the feeling this time minus 16 as well, which means no wind. And it was snowing. It was not cold at all. This week, I'm a bit in love with these flowers. They are really beautiful. Today's weather is minus 13 and the feeling is minus 13. Do you now understand it when I always say that we have to take into consideration how it feels?
Well, I guess you remember now. And it's too good to be true. And I'll try tonight.
If you've never been to Africa before, or you've been to Africa and it's been more than 6 years, I think 6 years is enough. Don't ever think that you're part of them. Now I'm using them. It's not any racist thing, but it's just to say that them means that people that already live there. So if you've not been to Africa for a very long time, more than 5 to 6 years, 10 years and above, or you've never been to Africa, when you go to Africa, there are some things that you need to know. I'm just going to share one experience that I had. Now, it was more than 15 years, I think, when I went to Ghana for the first time, because as I already say, I left Ghana when I was a kid. So when I went back to Ghana, it was a very, very long time. I tried to remember some things, but yes, it is what it is, and it was what it was. And the story, all the story started that before I went to Ghana, I discussed everything with my doctor. In Europe, that's what you do. You discuss everything with your doctor to see the situation, what you have to do, what you don't have to do, things that you have to take with you, medicines and everything. So my doctor gave me this malaria tablets, things that like medicines that you have to take like 2 weeks before you go to Ghana, and you have to take it constantly, like it's just a week. The week that you you took the medicine, that's going to be the same week that you're going to take that medicine, the tablets, like during that same day every week for the period of time you're going to stay, and 4 weeks after you leave. So she explained everything to me, that I was not supposed to drink anyhow, anywhere. I was supposed to take care of my not drinking like alcohol, but I'm talking about water. So the water was the main issue. My doctor explained everything to me, and my parents as well. They told me, my brothers, they told me, when you come here, what you have to pay attention is the water. All my friends were saying the same thing. Now I went there, it was 5 days. I stayed for 5 days, and I returned. I had to go back for my mom's funeral, if you've ever watched the video. And afterwards, that was the time that I had to stay like 12 days or 14 days. So I went like a week before the funeral and a week after. That was the period that this didn't happen. So when I went to Ghana, the first week, it was a week before my mom's funeral. And in Africa, we normally do the funerals on Saturday. So we have Saturday morning, the body is being laid. Saturday morning, like very, very early in the morning, like 3 a.m. or 4 a.m. in the morning. Then afterwards, they will move the body. They will do what they have to do, and we will just bury everything, and everything is done. So on Thursday, it was the Thursday that I came home. I went out with my friends, and I went back home. So when I returned home, that was the problem. There was no water at home. Now I remembered that I was not supposed to drink the water, but my aunties told me that the same water in the sachet, the ones that you find in the sachet water is the same thing that they put in the bottle. So I said, "Whoa!" And they said, "Oh, this specific water." So they said the name. I'm not going to mention the name. And they said, "This ice pack or whatever." I don't know what the name. You know, all the Ghanaian waters, they have like this ice pack, this ice pack. I don't know why everything is ice pack, and ice pack. And they said it's well done, and we even drink it and we don't have any issue. That was where I was supposed to think that me and you, we are not the same, because you have the citizen within inside of you. I have it outside of me. I've not been living with you guys here, so obviously I'm gonna have a problem. So I didn't think about that, and I said, "Oh, okay, really?" It was very, very late in the night. So I said, "Okay, I'm so thirsty. I have to drink something." And I took one sachet water. I cut it off, and I drank the water. Then as soon as I drank this water, I felt like something was going on in my stomach. Like, it was so fast. It was like just got into my body, and so I was like, something was. But you know, the whole night I was okay. And Thursday around like 4 a.m. to 6 a.m. not p.m. to getting towards like late in the evening. So we're like in the evening for 4, 5, 6, and then I started cause like something. I felt like there was something going on. So I wasn't feeling that well. No, on the Saturday. So on the Thursday happened. On the Friday, on the Saturday morning, very, very early in the morning, it was around like 3 a.m. That was where I started noticing that something was going on. So I went to the bathroom. I stayed there for a long time. And it was like, you know, when you're trying to do something, but at the same time, something blocks you and you feel the pain. This kind of diarrhea was a different diarrhea. I've never had this thing before. So I told my friends, and they said, "Oh, you have to take this, you have to take Emulgin, you have to take this, and you know, everything is, you know, you're not going to have any problem with that." And I started having, man, trust me. At 4 a.m., the woman who was supposed to, who came in to dress my mom, everything, they took the body at around like 4:30, they took the body to the park where we were having the funeral. And there, my story started. Now let me tell you, my mom was being laid there, and instead of me to cry for my mom, I was crying a little bit there, but all my crying was inside the bathroom. I was like, "Oh my God, oh my," and it wasn't because my mom was being laid. I was crying because I was suffering. Oh my God, this was a bad one. And the worst thing is that when it was around like 11 or something, they told me that my mom's body is going to be, I'm going to see my mom for the last time. So all of us, we have to come. And guys, I was like, okay, you guys should go. I told my brothers, okay, go. They didn't know what was going on. And I said, okay, you can go. But I'm not really well. So yeah, I will. And they were like, you can see your mom. And that's the last period. And I said, yeah, I understand you. But you just go. I took my brother's car and I drove back home. And I was like, God, I have to do this fast because I have to go back. Man, that was the worst experience. And trust me, it stayed there for like 3 to 4 days. I had to take some medicine, drink more water to, a kind of purification. And it was the worst time. So guys, I have somebody out. The second part of this story is going to be a long one. I don't want it to be a long one. But trust me, if you've not been staying with Ghanaians, so that's Ghana. I'm going to speak for Ghana because that's my blood. And I know other African countries are the same thing. I don't know. I believe so. If you've not been drinking water, their water with them when you go down, if you've not already experienced it, because you need to pass through this, you understand? Then your system get immune to that. Then after that, you can drink any kind of water that you want. So that's how it is. You have to suffer before you can regain your internal citizenship for you to be considered like, welcome home. Finally, you're part of us once again.
And I'll try